Yeah, we're
Right now?
Yeah.
No, we're not. You lying.
I promise we are.
Oh crap.
Good. Grandpas.
But we got way too many people on the couch.
No, we don't. This is fine, Alex.
I said we just moved out.
I think y'all are good.
Chair.
This is fine for real.
Y'all look fine over there, honestly.
Yes. It's like keeping us warm.
What are you touching my foot? Oh my goodness.
That's the Jordan way.
This is live.
Do what? Hey, camera.
That was recorded.
Hey,
Thank you.
hey, camera. Camera.
What is going on?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Why does this look like this?
I done changed it.
Are we sure we're
Why did
Yes, for a while.
I changed it.
Hey, why does it look like this?
We got one person watching. I think that's me.
Yeah.
What's it on? ABC?
Yes.
Alright.
We can't see Dean in it.
We can't.
Can't.
Well,
No,
What if I
we
call
also
it
can't see
that?
you, Alex.
Where's
Right
his
here.
spot?
Alex, you are also.
well, that's because Max was sitting in front of me.
I don't know.
How about now?
Oh,
Give me a second. We're a few.
never mind.
Oh, don't go live. Oh,
It's
wait,
already
live.
It is
Alex,
live.
we were cortisone. It was on.
It's already
Oh
live.
my
We
God.
told you this.
Yo, we got the air back. I feel like I like kissed y'all or something.
It's
We got
already-
to go back.
Oh.
Rewind that. He straight up was going.
Is it
like-
good? Yeah, yeah.
I'm for real. I didn't know that was on there.
Well, that's okay.
It's all good.
You got to go with it. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Extra Point Podcast. I'm Max Santa.
Alex Martin.
Landon Jordan.
Josh Cornatzer.
Dean Williamson.
And this week, we got week 4. We won't spend too much time on week 3. Just kind of go around the circle and just kind of talk about things. My record right now is 13-10. Dean is 15-8.
Yeah.
Best record
My
on the
team is
podcast.
down, but my record is up.
Josh is 12-11. Alex is 12-11, and Tanner is 11-12.
Where's my record?
Are we calling him in or not?
Yeah, he said call it.
Okay. And I'm probably gonna be eating this during this, so I apologize beforehand.
We're calling him in. It's like the Paul Five-on show, but
Oh, we don't want
we got a call
Paul.
in. Tanner from Lancaster, South Carolina.
While we're waiting, let's go ahead and take a look at the week that was.
He's in. Tanner
All
Vesky
right.
is on the call.
He's on air. Tanner Vescu's here. Alright, so I'm gonna put him right there. Let's take a look at some of these games. The only couple games that kind of, well, I guess these 3 that stuck out to me was number 20, or no, not 20. Washington and Michigan State. Washington went in and blew out Michigan State. They've been playing well all year. They continue to do it this game. They're 3-0. They look really well. I think they look like one of the best 4 teams in the country.
They are the best.
And they kind of reflect that in my rankings. LSU went on the road, took care of business, won big time. And I think we figured out that Georgia is indeed not the best team in the country.
They are not.
There we go.
Do what?
What do you mean do what?
Good teams find a way. Let's add that in there.
Huh?
Good teams find a way to win.
Those good
But that
teams
doesn't
are losing to South Carolina.
North Carolina.
Does that mean
Hey.
UNC's the best because they scored more
We
against
scored more
South
on
Carolina?
South Carolina, that's all I'm saying.
Y'all gave up more too.
What was the point differential?
I think we had a bigger point difference.
Hey, at least you didn't
Just come for.
for Boston College by 2 points.
Or we could be
Yes,
like
the
Virginia.
Seminoles.
At least we didn't lose to Rutgers. Oh,
Oh.
Well, this isn't about comparing teams to other teams. This is about looking at the best teams in the country and comparing them to each other.
That's why we don't talk about Virginia Tech.
Exactly. Anyways, moving along. Florida went to the swamp and took down Tennessee just like I predicted.
Yeah.
Nobody else predicted that on the podcast except for me. So I stand proud on that. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this. We got a lot of stuff to talk about for week 4. And so to get to that, we'll move right along. Everybody did pretty well. Everybody had 2 losses except for Josh and Tanner. And Landon didn't even make picks because he was
writing paper.
he was out of it. He quit the podcast that week.
I was writing paper. I got an A average. That's right now.
Yeah.
I know that's right. All right, So, first game, we got Clemson and Florida State at 12 o'clock on ABC. Number 4, Florida State is favored by 2.5. And for this game, I just think the Noles ride. I just think that even though they're playing in Death Valley, I think it's going to be a closer game. But nothing out of Clemson's offense has shown any promise and any sign of hope that it's going to get any better. So I'm going to take Florida State, play the points.
I'm gonna be honest. I have Florida State winning this game too. I mean, our offense is terrible, man. How do you fumble? Like, our handoffs are fumbles. We fumble on handoffs like 20% of the time. We can't even hand off the ball right. And then half the time we're throwing down the field. The Cole Turner is like 5'10". The only time we take a deep shot is to our 5'10" receiver who can't even like create separation. And then our defense isn't even that good, honestly. It's not the same. Our secondary is trash, man. So Florida State wins by 7-10 points. I don't know. We're at that valley.
I think
You got one defense. He's actually done very well this year.
Nate Wiggins is the only one that's like actually done something.
I got Florida State winning by like a field goal. Or a touchdown to a field goal. Clemson, except for Clemson always plays their games really tough in Death Valley. And we saw Florida State really struggle at Boston College.
Josh, slide over this way.
You know what I'm saying? Florida State really struggled at Boston College, but I think that was their one like bad game. I just don't like they said Clemson. I don't think Clemson's offense has it against Florida State. And we saw what Florida State did to LSU. But it's going to be a close game. I don't think Florida State runs away with the bang. It's still Clemson. But, I think, Florida State wins.
I guess I'm up.
Yeah, you can go.
I got, I think after last week before with Florida State, I'm actually going to be the odd one in here and go Clemson. I think Clemson wins this game. I think that, I really do. I mean, I think Clemson, this is a must-win game for Clemson. I really do. You've already had an embarrassing loss to Duke. If you lose to Florida State, that's 2 losses, and that's 4 weeks of football. So you're 2-2, 50%. That's not a good look in Clemson, South Carolina. So I feel like this is a must-win game for Dabo, especially to kind of outlay the rest of the season. So I can see Clemson win this game.
Yeah, I think it is a must-win game for Clemson, but I don't think they'll win it. I think Florida State's just going to have a bounce-back win, even though they won against Boston College. I think they're going to have a bounce-back performance where they start blowing the socks off Clemson and win.
Do what?
Win by 2 scores. Win by 2 scores.
I don't know about that one.
Win by 2 scores. 10-14.
I believe what he said.
That's not a blowout.
It's not a blowout, but I think they let them.
You say you're
I think it's gonna be
blow the
like-
socks off of
I think they'll let up a garbage time touchdown that makes it a 2-score game.
I'm taking Clemson. They just don't like landing it. I'm taking it close.
We won 7 straight against the Seminoles. 7 straight.
And that streak is gonna
Most of those
be
run the Willie Taggart era.
Listen, we beat them last year. We beat them last year in Tallahassee with DJ as our quarterback. Even though DJ's doing well at Oregon State right now, we still beat them with like majority of the same rosters in Tallahassee. Well, I'm just saying.
But I
think it's
do.
gonna be closer than people think it's gonna be.
But I do feel like this game, both of these teams could take down Danny Martin's Tar Heels. I do feel like they
I
can take
agree.
it down. Quick shout out, Danny Martin, quick shout out. I do feel like they both could easily take down the Tar Heels.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a shocker. The number 3 team in the country is going to take out North Carolina. I'm so shocked by that. I think we can do it.
I don't. ACC championship says otherwise.
That's because we have an inept head coach that don't know how to prepare for other quarterbacks.
All right, let's go to the next 12 o'clock game on Fox. This is number 16, Oklahoma, favored by 14.5 at Cincinnati. I'm gonna change my pick here.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good move.
I
Good
think-
move. Good move.
Oklahoma has been absolutely destroying people. Their offense looks really good. Their defense looks improved. I think that this team looks really good right now, and I think they're humming on offense and on pretty much all sides of the ball. So I'm gonna take Oklahoma with the points, laying the points. I think Cincinnati's got Emory Jones at quarterback. If you remember him, I think they're a pretty good team. I just don't think they have the kind of talent to keep up with Oklahoma. I bet you Oklahoma win. I'm gonna go Oklahoma by like 17 for this game.
I think they win by 21. I don't think I see Cincinnati's offense really doing much, and Oklahoma's offense has been like crazy the last few weeks. Last year they were terrible in offense; like they couldn't do anything. But this year, I don't know. They've like completely turned their team around. I think they win big in this game.
I do too. I
Yeah.
feel like Oklahoma rolls over. Cincinnati's not the same, and they haven't been the same since Luke Fickle left.
Fair enough. I hate Oklahoma more than anybody in the Sherman. There's no chance Cincinnati wins this game.
Especially after last week's performance, losing to Miami of Ohio. Was that game at home as well? Yeah.
If you lose to a MAC team, you're automatically bad.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a good MAC team either. It's gonna be 4 scores.
Unless you're Virginia Tech.
Blaine Gabbert.
Unless you're Virginia Tech,
Miami.
will lose.
Oh my gosh. No.
Virginia Tech probably would lose to Miami.
Yeah.
They
It would probably be, it would be a close game.
College game day good at that one. Worst team in college football.
Oh gosh.
That's Virginia Tech.
Yep,
Middle.
it is.
No, excuse me, that's a trash hole.
Yeah, that's a dumpster fire right there.
Big Best, what you got?
I'm gonna take Oklahoma. I think they win this by 2 touchdowns. I mean, Cincinnati. I mean, like they said, I mean, he ain't been the same. But they haven't been the same since Pickle left. I think Boomer Sooner keeps it going.
Just 2 touchdowns. Cincinnati covers the spread.
No, they don't cover.
Cincinnati
Or they
covers.
cover if it's 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take Oklahoma cover my bad.
Yeah. Okay. Oh crap! I didn't do that. All right. Let's move on to the next game. We've got Texas A&M favored by 7.5 against Auburn at 12 o'clock on ESPN. This slate this weekend is absolutely phenomenal. This is the most ranked on ranked game since 2006 that we've had. So a really, really good weekend of football here. I feel like A&M was a lot better than they showed against Miami. I think Connor Legman's a really good quarterback. I think Bob Neutrino is calling the plays now, and I think that they're going to get better on offense. They have to. They're top 4 most talented team in college football. I think they pull it together, especially against Auburn. I don't think this Auburn team is that great. I think they're better with Hugh Freeze, but this game is also at home for Texas A&M, and I think they cover the spread.
If this game was at Auburn, I might go for the upset. But Texas A&M does not lose a lot at home. And Auburn only beat Cal by 4. It was like 14-10, and Cal is not a good football team. So I don't think Auburn's gonna be able to handle the offense. I don't think Auburn's that bad defensively, but I don't think they're gonna be handling the defense. I don't think they're gonna handle Wigman. Yeah, I mean, I could. If this game was at Auburn, I would call for an upset. I just don't see them. I mean, yeah, Auburn's 3-0. They have played absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
So Texas A&M did get destroyed by Miami. But Miami's a good football team. I think we all kind of underestimated what Miami's going to do. And A&M's still a talented team. They're still going to lose a few games, but I just don't think they lose to Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn will have a whole lot.
I don't think so either. I don't think Auburn has much production offensively wise, so I think A&M still wins. They still got better talent.
Yeah.
But I just think their coaching is terrible.
I would switch on this. I feel like Auburn. This is the potential first time leading up to next weekend. That Auburn and Georgia has actually had a meaningful Deep South oldest rivalry game since 2018, 2019. I feel like that Auburn is really going after this game hard so they can get Georgia. They're both right now the only undefeated team in the West is Ole Miss and Auburn. I feel like Auburn's going to try to hold this up, and I feel like they're going to go in noon game. I feel like they're going to College Station, take care of A&M, come back home next week and set up a 4-0 beat South Florida's rivalry, and have a little bit of meaning behind it for the first time since 2018 when they had Stidham and Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah, I agree. I think Auburn's going to win the game. I don't like A&M's coaching. I think talent can only get you so far if you're not going to be coached well. And I was proven right by the Miami-Texas A&M game. And I think that trend continues where Jimbo Fisher just can't coach that team to a winning record. So I think Auburn's got this one in College Station.
I think one of the biggest things that's been different for Texas A&M this year is their offense is actually one of the best offenses in the country, and they're scoring 44 points per game right now, and they're actually a top 10 passing offense in the country. So I think that like kind of influences my pick too, and also I don't see Auburn anywhere close to this list when it comes to total defense.
So the passing defense.
Or hasn't played anybody. And when they
They haven't played anybody
when
good.
they played an actual top or an actual like FBS
Or
team,
18,
they
17.
only won 14-10 against Cal. Cal's bad.
I think
Future ACC.
Auburn hadn't played any. I think it's a combination of Auburn hadn't played anybody well. Miami, they've already played Miami, and I think or Texas A&M's already played Miami, and I think Miami is a good team. They have a really good defensive line. They've kind of faced somebody with some talent. So I think that Texas A&M takes care of this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with A&M too. I really think it's gonna be a good game, but I think A&M pulls away at the end, and I think they win by a touchdown.
Yeah. All right. First game at 3:30 on CBS. Number 13 Alabama favored by 7 against number 15 Ole Miss away. Man, I think they put Jalen Milroe back at quarterback. They shouldn't have switched him last week. They should have let him play more to get more time and experience. He's the best quarterback on that team. I think his offensive line starts to get better as time goes on. I think they start to get better running the ball. Their offense is going to be deep passes and rolling the quarterback out. That's what they've been doing with Milroe. I think that going to Ole Miss is tough, but at the same time, this Alabama team they have so much motivation right now. Like if they've never had any more motivation than right now, I don't know when that would have been. But they're doubted. They're not playing well. They know they're not playing well. And if this team, it would be crazy to see Clemson and Alabama, two teams that have gone back and forth in national championship games, go down this weekend. I think that will be the solidification of these dynasties are just finally starting to trend downwards, like officially downwards. Especially they both have 2 losses as well, so that'd be pretty crazy.
By week 4.
By week 4, 2-2,
Yeah.
But
50%.
I think Alabama pulls it together. Their defense, there's no problems with it. They're really, really good. I got Alabama by 7.
I don't believe this whole we're doubted thing is starting to get old to me, because they said that after they lost to Texas at home, they went to USF and put on an absolute stink fest. I mean,
Before they even played Texas too.
they were talking about we're down and stuff, and it hasn't gotten anywhere. I mean, Bama looked really bad against USF. I mean, they looked horrible.
And that is a bad.
I mean, granted, I know they had the other quarterback in, but that game should not have been that damn close. Ole Miss is an actual good team, and I feel like they're going to want to put Alabama to dirt. I mean, like this game go either way. I think if Bama wins, I think it's still going to be really close. But I got Ole Miss winning.
Jackson Dart. Down goes Alabama. Clemson wins. I'm changing my Clemson pick. Alabama's the low team now. Alabama's the most disappointing team.
Has Lane Kiffin beat Alabama? He has beat Alabama. Ole Miss, has he?
I don't think so. I think he gets win one right here.
And this is gonna be, in my opinion, this game might, and this thing I think will be like hand in hand with the Ohio State Notre Dame game. I feel like this is actually gonna be this is huge.
Contest.
Lane Kiffin this is about the best chance he's had to beat Alabama since he's been there. But Nick Saban, he ain't also gonna fold over. I can promise you that. He ain't gonna. I'll tell you still got people like Dallas Turner, Kool-Aid McKinstry. The Alabama defense is still just as good as any defense in the country. But I feel like that. I think what's hurting Alabama this year is quarterback, and the biggest thing is wide receivers. They have no wide receivers at all. Isaiah Bonds is probably the best receiver on the team. I mean, they have people that. I mean, they literally have no names to wide receivers.
I was gonna say this is the first year where you don't have your Alabama 2 wide receivers that you know are going to be great and they're household names. Where they're just gonna go to the draft next year and be like 13, 15 overall pick.
And you got Jermaine Burton, which he has been a bust. He probably should have stayed. I'm sure he's regretting. He should have stayed at Georgia. But he's not doing nothing with his time there. I can tell you that A.D. Mitchell's actually being productive for something. Jermaine Burton has just wasted 2 years of his life.
Yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss as a close one. I think they win this game. I think this is the best chance that Lane's had in a while to beat them, and I think he finally does it this year.
All right, let's move on to the next 3:30 game. We got there's 3 really good Pac-12 games on this weekend that can really influence that conference, and they're all in-conference games. So we got number 11 Utah favored by 4.5 versus number 22 UCLA. I think UCLA comes and sneaks up and gets them, man. I think that their offense is really good. Utah almost got by Baylor a few weeks ago. I think this game is in Salt Lake, but I think it's one of those games, those weird Pac-12 games. I think UCLA I think they get them.
I'm picking Utah. UCLA beat the Shots. I don't want to see UCLA win any more games. I'm taking Utah.
I'm going Go with them. I'm going Utah. UCLA did not look all that great when they played Coastal. Granted, the Pac-12 is weird. They like to kick each other out of playoff positions all the time, but I'm going Utah.
I'm going Utah too.
Go Utes. I mean, UCLA isn't, but so good. Utah's my Pac-12 champion, so. Repeating. That's the
I'll
three
watch
of the
it,
season.
man.
Not Georgia winning the national champion. Utah getting its 3rd straight Pac-12 champion.
I thought he was about to say Utah was winning the national championship.
That is something to say.
That'll never happen. Let's not go that far.
If he said that, we might would have cut the mic off and go home.
Utah's the only team that'll win their conference championship and not go to the playoffs.
Exactly.
All right. The next game is 3:30 on ABC. Number 10 Oregon is favored by 21 versus number 19 Colorado. Travis Hunter's out for 3 weeks. I think most people know that. He's out for Arizona State. He's out for USC, and he's out for this game. I think people need to recalibrate their expectations for Colorado. Like, what they've done up to this point should be definitely celebrated. I don't think many people thought that they were going to do what they were supposed to do, and Vegas didn't think that they were going to do what they're supposed to do. Their win total at the beginning of the season was 2.5. So to say that they should win this game is crazy because I don't think, they weren't even projected to win more than 2.5 games. So they've already accomplished a lot. With that being said, I think that even without Travis Hunter, I think they're still a good team. I think that Oregon wins, but I don't think they cover the spread. I'm taking Colorado covering the spread.
Yeah, I have Oregon winning too, but I just don't think they're gonna beat them by 21 points.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna win.
That's
by
too many
20
points.
points. That's 3 touchdowns. I don't think. Travis Hunter's out. That could be pretty big, but I don't see them winning by 20.
They still have receivers
Their
and stuff
offense
around
is
them.
still good. Yeah.
And that defense is looking really good.
The only problem that I worry about with Colorado is their offensive line and keeping Shador Sanders out of harm's way because he's been sacked a lot in the past couple games. So
Yeah, I think like I said, this spread is just way too much. I mean, they still have Shador Sanders. He's having a Heisman campaign right now. I mean, the dude is very good. They got good receivers, but Oregon still wins this game because it's in Eugene. Oregon is going to make a run for Pac-12 championship, and the Oregon's a legitimately good team. They have a really good offense. I don't think Carl's going to be able to handle it, but yeah, I mean, Oregon at most I think will win by like 17 or 2 touchdowns. But yeah, Colorado covers, but Oregon wins.
I don't think he's the best by no means, but Oregon has an experienced quarterback in Bo Nix. I mean, he's been there. This is like a Stetson Bennett reenactment. I mean, he's been there since 2019 and that's where he started at Auburn. But it's like, I mean, he won the season quarterback. This year is very different when it comes to quarterback situation. And I would actually say that he's probably easily the top 5 quarterback in the country, Bo Nix says. Especially with this year's quarterbacks. You know, it's not nowhere near depth wise like it usually is in college football.
I would definitely disagree with what you're saying.
Oh yeah,
There's a bunch of really good quarterbacks. You just don't think that
yeah.
because they're not in the SEC.
A lot of the Pac-12 quarterbacks are like,
There's a plethora of Pac-12
half the
quarterbacks.
Pac-12 quarterbacks are like really good.
Yeah.
That new guy at UCLA is really good too.
Dante Moore,
Yeah.
Dante Moore, you got Michael Penix.
Michael Penix.
Even Cameron Ward at Washington State is really
Caleb
good.
Williams.
Jaden Rashada didn't play this past weekend. That's why they lost to Arizona State did. But he's a 5-star guy that was supposed to go to Florida. NIL stuff didn't work out. He didn't go there.
That's
You got Caleb Williams,
And Michael Penix.
Sam Hartman, Drake May. I mean,
Oh, we're talking about
We're seeing the Pac-12
We're
only,
talking about Pac-12.
and we're not.
but
we're
still,
not.
you have to find a way to bring there's still a lot of good
You
quarterbacks.
gotta include
Yeah.
UNC somewhere.
But no, he was saying there's not a depth.
Oh,
There's
no,
still
yeah.
a lot of good quarterbacks.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
really good
Cade
quarterbacks.
Klubnik.
But there's
No.
none in the
Quinn
SEC,
Ewers.
and I think that's why they're not doing as well this year is because they don't have any standout quarterbacks. Granted,
Yeah.
I think Spencer Rattler is a really good quarterback.
If Spencer Rattler had any other team, he would be undefeated right now.
I like
Spencer
He'd
Rattler.
be doing
I
better.
can't like
He's doing a lot better this year, like starting off the season than he did last year.
I think
He's playing like he did it.
I think if Rattler's
last year,
on,
though.
I think if Rattler's on Alabama, they beat Texas. I believe that if Rattler is
Honestly,
Alabama's quarterback, they beat Texas.
I would agree with
South
that.
Carolina is a top 19 passing offense. They're averaging 304 yards.
They don't have 2 receivers.
Too bad they could beat North Carolina.
Well, they couldn't get in the end zone against North Carolina.
Oh, wait, how could we forget? Shador Sanders in the Pac-12 as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just
Yeah,
plethora in the Pac-12.
Pac-12.
Bo Nix.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Cam
like
Rising.
Pac-12 is
Cam
loaded.
Rising.
Pac-12 is loaded.
It's unfortunate this is last year.
Yeah,
it's
this is-
having like one of his best seasons.
Yeah, it's going out with a bang, that's for sure. All right. So,
Oregon State, Washington.
Tanner, you still there?
Yeah, I'll stay there.
Okay. All right, we got
Oregon State.
Oregon State at 7 o'clock. We got number 14 Oregon State favored by 3 against Washington State away. Number 21 there. I think that Oregon State's a pretty good team. I just think I don't know, man. It's a tough game to pick, honestly. They're going to Pullman. I think that's a pretty tough place to play in the Pac-12. Those fans absolutely love Washington State football. I mean, you always see the flag on game day and stuff. So I'm going to take Washington State +3 here.
Beavers, DJ, 2 touchdowns. They win by 10 points.
So you're saying that he's proven that Clemson was a problem and not him?
Honestly, at this point, there's no telling. Our offense is terrible, so I think DJ was part of the problem, but I also believe coaching was a really big part of the problem.
Brandon Streeter's called everybody to play good over here.
Clemson was the problem, but I want them to complete the offense because DJ did not fit. I don't think he fit their style of offense.
Yeah.
I don't think many people fit our style of offense.
The only thing that made that offense look good was Trevor Lawrence because he was that good. And same thing with
But we have receivers.
Deshaun.
We have receivers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't have receivers though.
Yeah.
I'll say DJ in his last game at Oregon State was like 15 for 30 and had 2 picks. So
No, he's starting to show his colors a little bit.
yeah, I don't
Be
really
your
understand.
lights in.
I don't really understand how Oregon State is 14th. I think they should be a little bit lower than that. And Washington State is tough to play at home. They're pretty good. I mean, they're pretty good, right?
Yeah, Cameron Ward's a good quarterback.
He's a
too.
good
they
quarterback.
They just beat Wisconsin.
They beat Wisconsin,
Yeah.
so that was a really good win. I think Washington State wins, especially because it's at home.
Big Ten powerhouse, Wisconsin, right?
DJ Ugalele,
Yeah,
three
yeah.
kids.
The West is terrible. Big Ten East might be the best.
It always is.
There's only 3 teams in the Big Ten East that Big Ten is carried by 3 teams.
There's only 3 teams in the Big Ten.
But they're
Michigan
all in
first.
the East.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's so lopsided.
Michigan, Penn State, and then maybe Ohio State.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm glad they're going divisionless next year because I think it's so stupid because we have like that East division has every good team.
You want Ohio State and Michigan to play twice a year just so y'all don't lose to Michigan
Twice,
twice a year?
lose twice a year.
You don't want to lose to Michigan twice a year?
Also, free hardball. We also reminded that with McCarthy.
Man, always sold. Man, was just buying a sandwich for something.
They wanted to buy a burger.
Wanted to buy
Dude, I think that is all just to try to get that team fired up, man.
They're 3-0.
Like, come
The
on.
NCAA makes stupid
They're
stuff
3-0.
like that.
JJ McCarthy threw 3 picks against Bowling.
It don't matter.
Green.
He
That's
owns
good.
He
A win's
owns
a win.
Ohio
A
State.
win's a
He
win.
owns the Buckeyes.
He's terrible.
Never lost.
You say a win's a win, but if that was Ohio State that played like that, they've been dropped 4 more spots in the rankings.
Yes.
Oh,
100%.
JJ
Well,
McCarthy's never lost to
the thing
Ohio
is-
State.
Ohio State has to cover the spread.
Regardless
I don't
of
think either one of them are top 14.
Florida State,
What about Florida State and what about Michigan? They didn't cover the spread.
I
Who
mean,
cares
Florida State
about
really
Florida
should have
State?
dropped a few
Who
spots.
cares?
That Boston College game was bad.
Ohio State will figure out Saturday night what they are.
They will.
They should.
And Notre Dame will find out real well. And it'll have an L in the column.
No.
I think Notre Dame's going to find out that Ohio State's a little overrated. And
Sam Hartman's going to play
Hold on.
this
Hold on.
year.
Hold on.
We're not there. We're not there.
Hold on.
we got
All
one
right.
game to talk
7:30 at CBS. Number 7 Penn State. Fair about 15 versus number 24 Iowa.
we might as well skip this.
I
game.
think that Penn State, after last week's performance, didn't play too well. They got to do better on the rush defense on the front line. I think they have a hard time with that. Their secondary is really good. Iowa can't score a point to save their life. And if they don't, Brian Ferentz is going to get fired. So I think that Penn State destroys them. It's also the whiteout game. I think that's a great atmosphere. Even though I hate Penn State, I think that Penn State covers the spread.
I agree.
Penn State.
Penn State
Not even
destroys
close.
Iowa.
Now to the game.
And now, at 7:30
Sam Hartman.
on NBC,
4 touchdowns.
number 6 Ohio State,
5 touchdowns.
fair by 3 in South Bend against number 9 Notre Dame.
Can I go first for this one? I want to go first.
I want to go last.
I'll go first. Sam Hartman, masterclass.
Yes.
5 touchdowns, 400 yards.
All right, calm down a little bit. Calm down a little bit.
I don't think defense is going to get played in this game at all. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is just going to go off, get 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 180 yards.
What?
Oh yeah, no.
What?
I think this is going to be like a 40-something point game. I
Still
think
lose?
What?
yes, I still think they lose because I think
Harrison has 3 touchdowns.
Did you just say he had 3 touchdowns, 180 yards, and we lose?
Yes.
What's the score going to be like?
yeah, it's going to be like 45-42. It's going to be a very high scoring. What's the spread on that game?
3.
Yeah, it's going to be like a 3 to 7 point game.
What?
Notre Dame wins it, but
God bless his soul.
All right, let me.
now when I'm proven wrong, I'll be the first one to
Alright,
tell
alright,
you,
wait.
but I won't be.
All right, let me bring this back down to reality real quick. All right, this game's gonna be close.
Nah. Sam Hartman.
No, all right.
Makes it too easy.
All right,
It's going to be too easy. for Sam
That's
Hartman.
too easy.
All right,
Too
Sam
easy in South Bend. They
Underestimate.
might as well go ahead and go home. They don't even have to go there.
Look, Ohio State's still a daggum good team. All right, I know y'all don't want to admit it. They're still a daggum good team. They have a good offense. They got a good defense. But Notre Dame's also good as well. This is the first time they've had a high-powered quarterback in years. Sam Hartman has 10 touchdowns in 4 games. He's really good. I think Notre Dame's really good. This game is not in Columbus. It's in South Bend. We saw what happened last time Clemson went in South Bend. It was a destruction.
Ohio State.
Unnecessary shot.
I'm
just saying.
shot.
I just want to put
Ohio
that in
State
Very
and Clemson
necessary
are not
shot.
the same team.
I just want to put that in there. I think
Alright, they're better.
I think Notre Dame wins, but it's gonna be close. I think this game's probably might be like 30s range. I think Ohio State is going to have a lead in part of the game, but I think Notre Dame wins by like a touchdown or less.
Notre Dame wins.
And this game could go either way. Notre Dame could pull a Notre Dame and get embarrassed on national television, which they have done before. It's Notre Dame.
A lot of times.
They've done that before. But I think Notre Dame's going to want to make a statement in this game. This would be the game to do it. Now, granted, Ohio State could come out and still win.
No.
But I think this was Sam Hartman, this defense, this offense is just very high power. So they normally don't have a high power quarterback. Notre Dame's normally a running team. But yeah, I mean this game's gonna be close. I mean, this could go either way, but I'm going Notre Dame.
The Irish by 10.
Am I up next?
Yeah.
Am I up next?
Mm-hmm.
The last time that Ohio State played somebody with a real man's quarterback, they got beat.
Who were
Last
I
time,
don't agree with
Georgia.
I don't agree with
Listen,
You can't compare the last year's team to this year's team.
Just listen. Shut up and let me talk. Listen,
That's it.
Georgia had an elite running back. Alright, cut on. That's all about Georgia. Sam Hartman, past elite. Estime, past elite. Them bums on Ohio State would do nothing with that. They can throw it up to Marvin Harrison, score 45 points, but it don't matter because they're going to be 48 to take down the Irish in South Bend, cut the lights out in Columbus, save the airplane or gas money on the bus, whatever you got to do. Lights out, Kyle McCord this, Kyle McCord that, Buckeyes done. Boom!
They might as well not even show up, honestly.
I just got one name, but this whole time he told me this week we win by 2 touchdowns.
We have no record of this. I don't know what you're talking about. We can always have Michael Knight in this call because I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't want to ask. Michael might have worse things than Cornhusker.
All right, that's all that's
All right,
saying.
I will go.
So better record.
Besides just, I feel like this and I feel like that, I'm going to throw some stats out there.
Oh, that's so fun.
Both of these teams haven't really played anybody that great.
Hold on, get that on video.
Notre Dame
Listen,
played the great NC State.
You think back, you think God hates NC State. He struck their scoreboard with lightning.
That's true.
Listen,
That's true.
NC State has a good defense. I think they've played
They're terrible.
teams with units that are pretty good.
NC State's terrible.
NC State's defense, I don't think they're that bad, so they played them. Ohio State played a pretty good offense at West Kentucky.
We should go back.
They've been one of the best offenses in the country for 3 years.
But we're not talking about
It's Western Kentucky.
It's Conference
Not
USA.
this year.
It is Conference USA play.
I have never seen
Those
a
are
team
horrible
hype up
teams.
Western Kentucky in my life.
Yeah,
Conference USA
Yeah.
is the worst conference
Is
in
that where
college
Bailey's
football.
at played?
Yes.
Tulsa's got the best defense in the country.
It's terrible.
For those that aren't casuals out there,
What's that supposed to be?
Just don't watch football.
I don't
Oh,
think
he's looking at a stat with Air Force at number 1. This thing is going already.
Plus, you had a stat with Virginia Tech at 5.
Air Force.
You had a stat.
Oh, my
Hey, Alex. There was a stat with Virginia Tech at number 5.
Let me just say this.
That's how you know it's bad.
listen.
Oh.
Ohio State, scoring defense. Right now, second in the country, behind that team up north.
Behind Michigan.
Behind
The Wolverines.
who's
They
that?
still own Ohio
The
State.
team up north
And
cannot do justice.
Ohio State has played better teams than they have.
Are we sure about that?
Yes, we played a conference opponent.
It was Indiana.
Their defense showed that they were pretty good against Louisville. Their defense is not that bad.
It's Louisville. It's Louisville. They're just as bad.
Ohio State total defense number 2 in the country, in front of that team up north.
You're still behind Air Force.
Air Force, still behind Air Force. Air Force can beat them.
Where's Georgia?
Oh, Ohio State is 8th on this list.
All right,
Hey, they're
scoring
they're low
offense.
just the same
Ohio
now.
State number
That's
8,
really sad.
number 9 Notre Dame. Rushing defense. Oh, they are.
Where's Ohio
Oh,
State?
hold on. 11, Georgia. 19, Ohio State. Where's the dude? Yeah, right there. Right, put that on there.
Why's Rutgers got to be on that list?
Fresno
Okay,
State
anyways,
is
it's,
y'all.
it's 10, dude. Come on.
No, he's James Massenberg, y'all are.
Listen, the point is, Ohio State hasn't had their defense be this well off on defensive line, secondary, linebackers, all units since 2019, and I can honestly see this possibly being better than that. The only problem I see with the Ohio State defense right now is getting to the quarterback, and I feel like they got to the quarterback on Saturday, and they played a very complimentary game. They forced five turnovers. They had a couple picks, few forced fumbles. They played really, really well. Their offense is coming alive. They left McCord in for most of that game, and he kind of proved that he could do what everybody thought he could. I think that Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, obviously he's still there. Emeka Egbuka, you have guys. And when you have guys like that, I don't think that you can cover them very well. And I think that was even proven in the playoff last year. Like, who's going to cover these guys? You had the best defense in the country cover them, and they still gave up 42 against them.
41. Because Georgia had 42.
Hey, they could have 44. They could have 45. I don't know what you mean.
Listen, either way, that's probably the most points Georgia. That's the most Georgia gave up last year.
Yes.
4-1. So here's my thing: if one of the best defenses in the country couldn't cover him, what makes you think Notre Dame's going to cover him? I think Kyle McCord is a good quarterback, and I think he proves that on Saturday. He's a 5-star guy. Everybody forgets that. Everybody wants to forget that he's literally one of the better quarterbacks come out of high school.
DJ was a 5-star quarterback.
DJ played for a terrible offense. Ryan Day's offense has always performed well, and I think they're going to continue to do that.
They beat Western Kentucky, Youngstown State. You gotta remember that.
And Indiana, a Power 5 school.
Notre Dame beat Air Force.
Listen. I think Notre Dame's secondary is good, but also not only the passing offense. Ohio State's rushing offense is phenomenal right now. Travion Henderson is running about 6 yards per clip. He's really good. He's one of the best running backs in the country. We knew that coming into this season. He's running with some authority. He had I think he had 10 or 11 attempts last game, 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's playing really well. They've got running back depth right now that's really phenomenal. Chip Trainum run the ball well. Mayan Williams coming in on goal line stuff. I think that the only problem I see is the offensive line. They need to make sure they prevent pressure. But honestly, here's the thing, man. If you've got Jonathan Jean-Baptiste, who was a rotating guy for Ohio State and did nothing starting on your defensive line, I don't think your defensive line is very good.
2 years?
Yeah, I don't think they're very good on the defensive line. Now, granted, I think they might have some guys that can do a few things, and they could get a sack or two because I don't think our offensive line is that great. I think they could come together, but at the same time, I don't think that this Notre Dame defense is what it's made out to be. I think the secondary is better than the defensive line for sure. But I think that Ohio State's receivers are too good. I think they're going to get separation. I really think it comes down to Kyle McCord delivering the ball. I think he does that. I don't think they're going to score a ton of points because I still do think Notre Dame is a good team. I think it's going to be 24-17 Ohio State. I think there's too much talent that Notre Dame doesn't have. I think that Sam Hartman is also a really good quarterback. But then again, you got to think about who he's thrown to as well. I don't think there's anybody on that team as far as receiver that can really stretch the field, especially against an Ohio State defense that is number 2 in the country right now. And I think Ohio State, the Silver Bullets I'm not going to say they're back yet. We'll see after this game. But I think that after seeing these past 2 performances, Ohio State hasn't had a defense play that well in a long time. I don't care who you put them. I don't care. You can make fun of the opponent all you want. They haven't done that well against those opponents in a while, since 2019, and they're doing that. They're flying to the football. It doesn't matter. It's not like you're not playing nobody. Like, you're literally playing teams. You're playing physical human beings, and they're still doing this to people. They're forcing turnovers. They look like they're having fun. Denzel Burke is playing really well right now. I think that's why this game's not going to be too high scoring. But if it does get, I just don't see Notre Dame scoring more than 21, regardless of how this game goes. So I think it's going to either be a close game, and I think it's gonna be either a close game or Ohio State scores a lot of points. I don't see Notre Dame scoring a lot on this Ohio State defense. I really don't.
It's a full line now.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh no.
Put your earplugs in.
Look, obviously there's only about 3 of us in here that actually watch college football and understand the sport.
Here's my assessment. This is no hard feelings. There are people in here that watch the sport, and there are people in here who watch the sport and pay attention to who each team plays, the different statistics in that game. They actually pay attention to play by play. They understand the concepts of defenses, and they understand the concepts of offenses and different schemes and stuff like that. And there are people that just show up and rah, and that's it for the day. They're done with college football. They don't really understand much more than that.
Can I make a statement?
That's me.
Can I make a statement? The person on the phone that said that people in this room don't watch college football said that Minnesota was going to absolutely destroy North Carolina. That's all I need to be said.
And who are you referring to? You said they just rah and just go home.
And I will tell you right now.
We are in his head.
I have the best record currently.
Listen. Go ahead.
A lot of y'all are just scoreboard watchers. Y'all see the score at the end of the game, don't care what happens.
Yep.
I don't know what you're talking about.
100%.
Like myself, you call me weird, call me whatever you want to say. I watch film. I break down each offense and defense of every top 14, top 10 team in the country. Obviously, I'm not going to watch North Carolina film, but not top 20.
You have been wrong about every single North Carolina pick that you have chosen. You said that Minnesota was going to beat us by 30, and we beat them by 25. Get out of here.
Didn't he also pick App State?
What did he say?
What'd you say?
I'm doing that to get your goat. I'm not sitting here gonna. Do you think, honestly, I say here, if I had bet money thinking Minnesota was gonna beat North Carolina? No.
That's what you said before.
But I love the game of football. I will watch the film. And the way I see this Ohio State every game going, yeah, Sam Hartman's been passing good and everything, but he hasn't been pressured much. And the only times he's been pressured much, he can't get his targets under pressure. And you're going to have 2 guys, 5-star recruits, first-round draft prospects coming off the end, not counting Michael Hall, who's the #1 defensive tackle in the nation as of right now. You have to deal with all this. Then you have to deal with Josh Proctor, who's had 53 coverage snaps and hasn't given up but 1 pass. Denzel Burns only allowed 5 catches and over 60 attempts. When I say over 15 attempts, but over 16 plays, actual snaps, 60 plays. He only allowed 5 catches. You have Sonny Styles, who's a safety lining up at DN and he gets to the quarterback off of the offensive lineman as well as any DN in the country. And the way, well, you don't know, Sam Hartman's actually playing a little injured too. And the last time they played, he took a funny hit to the leg, and he's been kind of cautious on it every time. You see, they don't roll him out to the left side no more because he's having to put all his pressure on that leg to throw. They're rolling him out to the right. But I would say they have it's going to be tough for our team. They have Joe Hall. He hasn't allowed 1 pressure or QB hit or QB hurry. He's the top tackle in the nation. I don't see him messing up much, but I don't think this Notre Dame defense has what it takes to cover 3 potential first-round guys. A tight end who's hard to break, come down. I know this quarterback, yeah, he's new, whatever. The kid's calm, he's poised now. He's hitting his target. He's not leaving the pocket. We have a 5 rotation running back. All 5 of them will go to Notre Dame tomorrow and start over estimate.
I don't know about that. All 5 of them start over estimate. All 5.
I disagree. I think him and Henderson I think Estimate's a really good running back.
I like estimate, but yeah, everybody's talking about stats. All these people forget he played 1 more game than all these guys, but he's not splitting carries for no other back.
That is true.
They have Chris Tyree, that's their best receiver. He has 8 catches for 200-something yards. But all his catches have been on deep shots. And a lot of teams they played one-man safety over the top. You're not going to see that from Ohio State. You're going to see two-man safety. Cover two, a lot of zone. But I don't think, like last year, we took their best receiver. And now he is Sam Hartman, phenomenal quarterback. But I don't think what he's been yet, he has not been pressured in any of the 4 games he's played. I know NC State, they got one of the better D-lines in college football, but they have not seen the pressure that Ohio State is going to bring.
Especially when you got a secondary that's keeping guys locked up. That allows for more to be done on the defensive line.
This is the best secondary we've had. I think, honestly, I think this defense could be better than the 2019 defense. DN-wise, I don't think so. Quarterback-wise, I think so.
Yeah.
But what I see here, I see Kyle McCord, I think coming out, we're going to see a Georgia Ryan Day play call type. We're going to come out attacking deep. Because, yeah, number 20, Benjamin Moore, for them, phenomenal quarterback. One of the best freshmen last year in all of the nation playing quarterback. But, yes, you could put him in a safety over the top of Harrison, but you still got Fleming and Buka, freshman Carnell Tate. Kate Stover, you gotta watch Trayvon Henderson out of the backfield because he's just as nice at catching as he is running the ball. And yeah, I know people are gonna say, yeah, they got Baptiste and he's gonna know our style and our system, but we have their best player from offense last year, who the game was built around, and yes, they're in more of a power football formation kind of team. They're gonna run a lot of play action, you're gonna see shotgun and stuff. But if you get the way this game's going to go, if we get pressure on Hartman, if Ohio State gets pressure on Hartman, and he's pressured every time, they're going to be in trouble. His average time to throw out of the pocket so far this year has been 3 seconds, and that's a lot of time for a quarterback in college football. But I see this game, I see us winning as much as 14 to 20 points. I just don't think they have the defense that's going to be able to hang. I don't think they have a little bit of a secondary. The quarterback-wise is good, safety they have. But the way Ohio State defense, I know you can say whoever they ain't played nobody in these first 3 games. But last year and the year before, the defense didn't play like that the first 3 games like this defense had.
Well, you let me know. I got a quick pause. You find me a parlay card that's got them giving Notre Dame 14 to 20 points. And I'm going to find a bookie tomorrow. That's all. That's all. That's what I mean. If you give me 14 to 20 points in Notre Dame, I'm going to find a bookie in the morning at 5 a.m.
Look, all I'm saying is every time there's been a game in South Bend, a big game, I guarantee you, yes, it'll be home field for them, but they will not have a home field game.
They show up for big games.
Notre Dame is a really good home atmosphere.
That is a good home atmosphere.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, Marshall came in and took over the state with the fans too. The fans even came in, but yeah, that's just,
It'll be 60-40 Notre Dame Ohio State fans.
That's unbelievable.
I think honestly what you're gonna see, I think you're gonna see a lot of Notre Dame's gonna have to resort to smashing out football, and every big time running back Ohio State has played since 2016, they shut down. If you go to the edge, you say Donovan Edwards had all the yards last year, and we got the same defensive players as last year. Honestly, he had 12 rushes for 45 yards, and he had 2 big breakout plays that were just pretty much linebackers took a long gap. Wasn't missed tackles, wasn't like he did anything spectacular. But if we stop escalating, that takes out a huge offense. But yeah, I think Ohio State, I think they come in here, or I think they come into South Bend. I think halftime score, I'm going to say it's probably going to be, you're going to see, I'd say you can see a 14-7 or you can see a 21-7. But I think that second half, I just think Notre Dame, their secondary ain't gonna keep up with our passing attack. And I think the game against, I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be 42-21 Ohio State.
And before we go, let's just kind of run through each of our top fours for this week. I'll kind of go first. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess it's fair. They got probably one of the better wins. But I'll take Texas. They didn't look as bad last week as Florida State. They have a good win. I don't know how good that win looks now, depending on what happens moving forward with Alabama. But they're still a really good team. They have a good win. Florida State, kind of the same deal. They didn't look good last week. They got a big game this week. They got to get up for. So I think this is going to tell a lot about that Florida State team that they have. I don't think they've really been in a position where they know they can actually legitimately make the playoff. So I think that'll kind of tell itself this week. But I think they're number 2 right now. Number 3, I think Washington. They're just playing so good right now. They're flying on all cylinders. Only thing is, they haven't really played anybody good yet. They will. That's kind of the only thing hindering them right now. And then at number 4, I've got Ohio State. I think they're flying on all cylinders right now. I think they started to figure it out. And then I think they've gotten a lot better since week 1. And they got a big test against Notre Dame this upcoming Saturday.
All right, Dean, you up.
All right, well, I got the Washington Huskies, number 1. I think they literally destroyed everyone they played.
Yeah.
They've like smashed everyone, and I honestly they're like a complete team.
They are.
I think their offense is really good.
They
Roma
are.
Dunze and Michael Penix is like a duo.
Yeah.
I think I know Ohio State's got Marvin Harris. I'm not saying Roma Dunze's the best wide receiver in college
Yeah.
football.
They're definitely number 2 wide receiver core in the country. They're really good.
They are like offensively like
Yeah.
really good. And then number 2, I have Florida State. That could change after this weekend. You know, after they come into Death Valley, they might lose. They might drop down in the rankings.
Nate, where do you put Washington?
Number 1.
Number 1, I can see that, man. They have, I mean, arguably, they're putting up some of the best passing yard stats and total yard stats in a per game that I've seen in a while.
They're throwing like this. I think they're averaging 493 yards to the air right now.
It's the same.
That is today that they're averaging over 600 yards per game on offense.
It's crazy. And then 3, I have Texas. I mean, like they beat Alabama. They struggled a little bit against Wyoming for the longest time until halftime. After halftime, they broke loose.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's Texas. You never know. And then 4, I have Penn State. They struggled against Illinois. But I still think, like, after this weekend, I think Drew Allen will finally, like, start showing it against Iowa.
Pretty good defense there.
Yeah.
It is a good defense, but I just don't think Iowa's, like,
Yeah.
their offense is terrible.
Yeah.
But I still think Penn State's number 4. I think currently, I mean, Ohio State could change that. Michigan doesn't look good either. I think Penn State's 14 right now.
All right, Cortisone, you up.
Yeah, I've got Washington at 1. I think they're the most complete team in the Pac-12 outside of Utah. They're in full control of every game they've played. Like you said, 600 yards per game. That's really impressive. Number 2, I got Georgia. Out of the remaining 3 that I've got in my top 4, Georgia played the hardest opponent in my opinion, and they also showed they had a pretty good performance against them. It was sloppy for a little bit, but they still found a way to win. Number 3, I got Texas. That was a close game up until the 4th quarter. Played Wyoming, looked good in that 4th quarter, and then number 4, I got Florida State. That was too close for Boston College. Boston College should have won that game at the end.
They had like 10 penalties or something.
I watched the end of that game. It really should have been Boston College to win that. So yeah, Florida State at 4.
Yeah, I mean, Washington, I think they're the most complete team. I mean, they look the best. They are not struggling against these smaller teams like the other teams are. They're my Pac-12 winners. I think they can get in the playoff. Number 2, I got Texas. They struggled against Wyoming, but they pulled it out. Texas is still a good team, regardless. I mean, there were a lot of teams struggling last week, So and they pulled it out and they covered. They're gonna go Florida State. Yeah, they shouldn't have had that close game to Boston College, but it happens. I mean, every team's gonna have their bad game. They still won the game. I don't. That wasn't enough for me to really drop them out. And number 4, I got Georgia. I don't really know how I still feel about Georgia, but I don't really see anyone else being over them right now. I don't really like USC, and I don't think you can put like Penn State or anyone else over them yet just because they haven't lost. Georgia's still a pretty good team, so.
Unless you're Max, you think they're 3-9 in caliber. But Tanner's up next.
I'll admit. You said me?
Yeah.
Alright, my bad. Yeah, I'm gonna change from what I had on the actual sheet. I think number 1, I'm gonna change my next 3. But number 1, and they can prove this weekend, I think Ohio State. And the only reason I say they're firing off on their defense is they, and I think this weekend they have a chance to solidify that. And I'd say they're the underdogs. I mean, yeah, the Vegas odds I'm sure, but the media, if you keep up the media and everything, everyone's down.
Yeah, how used to be.
3-4 games.
As always.
Uh-huh.
Number 2 going to Washington. I mean, they're just putting up an insane. I mean, their offense is there. Their defense isn't. So, I mean, their defense is above average. They're good. Number 3, I'm going Georgia. I mean, they're kind of turning to the new Alabama. You can't count their season out, but Georgia, I think they kind of have that edge right now. I think they're.
Bring that thing over here.
I think they can have a year like this to solidify a spot in the playoffs still. And then number 4, I'm going Texas. I did have USC in it, but I'm not gonna put USC in it because their defense. I mean, when they playing some teams that actually have life on offense, their defense is just gonna be offensive shootout. And so I'm going Texas. They got a quality win over Bama, and I think they solidify themselves in number 4 spot.
All right, am I up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 1. Actually not.
Okay.
What? Texas.
Interesting.
Number 1, Texas. Number 2, good teams find a way. Georgia.
There it is.
Elite teams don't win by 10 against South Carolina, though.
They find a way to win. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Washington. Number 4. Is everybody just ready for this?
Yes.
Is everybody ready for this?
Yes.
After this Saturday night, the Fighting Irish.
Yes!
Notre Dame.
No, you can't base it off of what you think is going to happen. You have to base it off of what has happened.
Sam Hartman's proved himself.
Yeah, you just said after next week. This is not. That hasn't happened yet. You have to base it off of what has happened.
Well, if that's the case, Michigan's better than Ohio State.
Okay.
So either way,
You base everything off of feeling. You have no factual evidence for anything you said.
the top 3 teams 100%. Texas, Georgia, Washington.
You think Georgia looked like a top 3 team this Saturday?
They found a way. They won. They made adjustments at halftime. When Alabama won the national championship, they was tied up civil at halftime. They made adjustments.
I'm not saying they can't be good. I'm saying right this second they're not a top 3 team in the country.
That's what you think.
That's not what I think. That's what I know based on what I watched Saturday.
Let's do it.
Georgia looked abysmal on offense. Mike Bobo is terrible, and they can't do anything.
Right.
They almost lost in South Carolina.
Max
Let's be
Christ.
real.
Max,
Let's be real.
hey, you see that flag right there? They do it to themselves. It ain't media. It ain't.
Yes.
They do it to themselves.
It's the truth.
I like Max and I like Tanner and I love Woody Martin. But but them idiots, they do it to themselves. Ohio against the world. They make people hate them. Number 4, it's really number 4 is kind of to me it's a hard number. I'm going anywhere from Southern Cal, Notre Dame, Michigan, and Ohio State is maybe 6 or 7 in my book. I mean, what are they proving?
What is Georgia proving? That they can't score on offense?
Oh.
I know how you said Ohio against Florida, but you gotta think. Ohio State is the one team, and when I say media, I'm not just talking Twitter, I'm talking about ESPN and everything.
Landon, alright, let's put, hold on. Let's say this real quick.
If y'all watch Joe Flacco, you watch what he said. He said, imagine if it was Ohio State, the scenario where they beat a team like Bowling Green State, struggled on through the first half, or if they beat a team equivalent to Boston College by 2 points. Everybody would be saying.
Everybody be losing their minds.
If you sit here and like Joe Flacco said, Urban, everybody said, if you arrive at it so hard, because if you don't win by 100, your team didn't perform right. But it's okay for Florida State, Michigan, Texas tied 10-10 while only at halftime. It's easy for them to just pull out a win.
You can't tell me no. Their media is the hardest. Every fan base is the hardest on Ohio State. You can't tell me otherwise.
Gosh.
You can't tell me otherwise.
Look, you know what?
You can't tell me.
Let's
You
establish.
know what? Listen,
Listen.
Clemson loses to Ohio State in 2020, and all it is we ended Clemson. We ended them. Dabo is done. Ohio State is the reason that Clemson football is dead. You think that fans are not going to be hard on Ohio State after that? We're 4-1 all time against Ohio
Hey,
State. You beat us once, but we lost to the mighty Buckeyes, who lost in the national championship.
But the thing is, it's been like that. Listen, 4-0 before that was leading up to this, and all that crap happened in 2019 with all those calls, and we came and smoked you guys. And you guys haven't been the same since.
Let me get in the middle of this right now. They need to change that to what if against the world.
Yes.
Ohio State is what if. What if Marvin Harrison could take a hit from Javon Bullard? What if so and so did do this? What if so and so doing
I
that?
didn't realize
They
that
haven't
was
won
shouting
anything.
What?
They have
I
not
didn't realize
won.
it was a shouting match.
They have not won anything since 2014. Nothing.
I will say this. You guys managed to still give up 41 points to an offense that had start tight end out, then 2 wide receivers out, and a big string linebacker playing running back.
What if
They gave up
University?
41 points.
I just want to win University over
And we
here.
know our defense sucks. None of us said our defense was great.
All I gotta say is
The reason Ohio State held so high, when you can look through history, whatever you want to, they're one of the most consistent programs in history. They've had 3 losing seasons since 1970.
Congrats.
3 losing seasons, and when I say that, I mean losing seasons as losing. I'm not just talking about 6-5 winning season. I'm talking about 10-3, 11-2. No other college team other than Bama's the only one up there with us has that. Alabama, and I'm just talking about Ohio State. They have the highest win percentage in all of college football. But if you put them in a scenario like Georgia at halftime, we would have been dropped 4 spots at halftime.
100%. 100%.
I mean, I would agree with that on that. I mean, like, honestly, like, I mean, here's the
Here's the problem.
only reason they're hated so much, it's the same with Alabama. Everyone
Yeah.
freaks out every time Alabama, like, look at USF, they won the game.
Yeah.
But, like, they are clowning them right now.
Yeah.
It's because they're held to such a high standard. Because, like, Alabama is the highest standard in college football. And now that they don't have a quarterback, they're like, oh, it's over. They don't have a quarterback. They're not going to win anything. It's like, it's the same thing for Ohio State because they're historically that good, too.
Yeah.
And yes, it can happen for Georgia. They have another decade, like it has the last 2 years. They keep it up, you will see that more falling in place. But you didn't hear anything about Michigan, Florida State, Georgia, Texas, and none of these close games. But whenever, in the first quarter, when it was only 7-0 against Western Kentucky, everybody was putting out saying, oh, they're going to struggle with teams losing 4 or 5 games this year.
I don't think anyone was praising Florida State for only beating Boston College by 1. There was a
No, but he's saying that there's no criticism. It's like, oh, they had a bad game. It's whatever. Like, they didn't get dropped.
And all they're saying is, yeah, they pulled out, they got the win. not how college football goes.
No, that's not how it works. A win is a win is probably the biggest myth in college sports. That's not what tells. It's based on what competition you played and how well you played against that competition. Just because you won a game doesn't mean you're improving.
So Georgia's declining.
Yeah, I would say so. I think they're declining.
And that's what you think. That's what he thinks. That's what Tanner probably thinks too.
He said, "Do I think Georgia's declining?" And I said, "Yes."
Yes, do I think it's declining from the previous 2 years? They're not nowhere near.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying they're Georgia, but I still think they're elite.
I think they're good, but I think if they're
playoff
offense-
contenders this year.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, college
If
football.
if they lose one game, they're out.
If Ohio State loses one game, they could be potentially out.
If that
No, not on their schedule.
No. If Ohio State loses one game that's not Michigan, then they'll be in question. If they only lose to Michigan, they probably will make it to the.
If they
If
lose,
they lose to Notre Dame
Notre
this
Dame,
Saturday and win out, they're making the playoff.
Well, yes.
If Georgia loses to Auburn and wins out, they're not making the playoff.
Oh yeah.
Georgia's not losing to Auburn.
I'm just saying,
saying
hypothetically.
hypothetically.
Exactly. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
No, I understand that. Yeah.
Listen, this hasn't just happened right now. You go back to 2014, early in the season, when Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech. I know Josh probably knows that.
Yeah, we watched the highlights of that game tonight.
Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech. We won out and was still ranked 14th in the nation because one loss solidified our season apparently. And we go on to win the national championship. But that's like I've seen some scenarios on the internet that Georgia has one loss and still solidify a playoff spot. And many of these announcers are saying, yes, Georgia still has it, and then they go on to Ohio State and Bama. When Bama lost against Texas, everybody automatically eliminated them from playoffs. The Sky Farm and Tuscaloosa. Whenever we were only up 20, when we only won by 20 points, when we only won to 20 points to Indiana, and then the next week we won 35-7, and Michigan won 35-7. Michigan was getting all this praise, how they're one of the best teams in the country. Meanwhile, people were talking about we're going to have a 4-loss season. And Michigan won the same game against the same opponent, same caliber opponent, by the same exact score. So yes, I do think Ohio State is in a lose-lose situation when it comes to how consistent they are in what they do and what standard they are held to.
All I'm saying is, to see Notre Dame win Saturday night, I was tell somebody to take a chainsaw, cut right here, cut right here, cut right here. I would lose both arms and both legs to see Notre Dame absolutely demolish these idiots on Saturday night. I would give anything.
I mean,
I can't stand them. They're worse than Florida, Georgia Tech, Auburn, South Carolina, Clemson. I didn't even until I.
You know why? You know why you're saying that? Because they're the only team that has challenged Georgia in the past 3 years.
No, I'm not, because they're outrageous, irate fan base, and
Missouri
number one
challenged
head
Georgia.
right here. Ohio against the world. Poor me. Everybody hates us because you do it to yourself.
This will prove the point.
It's coming from the people that bark at other fans.
that is true.
Man, I don't like Ohio State either.
Ohio State wins 2 games by multiple possessions, and they get moved down in 2 weeks. Your other top 4 teams won the same caliber games, but struggled throughout the whole game and moved up in spots or stayed the same. It's not the fan base, it's how the media treats Ohio State is why these fans act like this. Because that's all I heard. I was a diehard Notre Dame fan. He saw us barely beat Indiana. That's all I heard. Oh, y'all were on the downfall. Y'all were on the downfall. But the problem is, the media holds us and them to such high standards. This is why. I mean, Alabama, if you ever keep over their fan base, they are the same way on their team as Ohio State is on theirs. The standard is held so high between those 2 teams. And if you go back to the early 90s with Michigan, my dad told me that they were held to the same standard of Ohio State is now, but Michigan fell off after the 2000.
I mean, it is for good reason why Alabama and Ohio State are held at such high standards. They are the elite programs of college football. Like, your top two programs are Alabama and Ohio State. It's like UNC in basketball, and we saw what happened last year. They got shaky in the beginning, and they fell off. So, I mean,
That was unnecessary.
no, but you understand what I'm saying. It is understandable that when your elite, top of the line programs start looking a little shaky, it is for good reason to start questioning them. Now, I would be fine if I'm proven wrong and Ohio State wins out and they look great. Okay, but I think right now, and I think it should be fine with questioning Florida State and Texas, because they also haven't looked good. Georgia hasn't looked that great. I think you can question all those teams. I think it's for good reason why Clemson's being questioned.
Yeah, we lost to Duke.
You lost to Duke.
Those teams are getting questioned. They're getting criticized. I'm not understanding where this no criticism's coming from.
We literally lost.
There is nothing against Clemson, but like, I mean, I see what you're saying, but it is that they lost. And you think they're just winning by 2 possessions or more, and yes, it's lesser opponent.
But when your program set that standard so high, it is understandable why you question why aren't these teams looking that great. They looked really. I will say Ohio State started clicking in that last game. So, I mean, the connection to Marvin Harrison Jr. looked really good in that game. So I understand. I think they're still a top 10 team. I just don't see them in the top 4, and I do understand a little bit of criticism. I think that dies down though in the next few weeks if they beat Notre Dame or they look really good and lose by 1 possession.
And I know I hear it all the time. Yeah, people hate Ohio State fans is how they talk. But I mean, if you grow up one, you truthfully grow up a true fan. And this is a question for me. How do you feel about your team after going through national championships and all of a sudden losing to Duke?
Awful.
Exactly. But how do you feel the media, like after that game, said your dynasty was falling apart? It would piss you off.
It's already happened. Like, that's all I've already seen. As soon as we lost to Duke, all Paul Feinbaum said was, Dabo's dynasty is done. He said that for the past 2 seasons.
And see, Clemson's the only team that's entirely related to this because they recently just lost to their rival that they typically don't lose.
It's
I
true.
mean, you're looking at 2 teams in the past 20 years that their rival won't beat them. You can count it on one hand. And see, with Georgia, you're never going to hear that because their main rival, yeah, they're Auburn, it's a pretty good rival, but their main rival is Georgia Tech.
It's a sad rivalry.
I mean, it's whatever standard your team, and like, yeah, I can't speak for history, but I mean, when you got 2 teams that have over 800 to 900 win percentage, yeah, if you have a losing season, everybody's gonna start freaking out because your teams usually win 10 to 12 games. Nobody would have told me 3 years ago that Alabama would have lost to Texas and looked just that. Nobody. 3 years ago, I would have never thought Clemson would have lost to Duke. But it's just the consistency these teams have. And Georgia's looking like they're too lazy, but like Ohio State and Alabama, they look like that for 10, 20 years running. Georgia's done it for, I'd say, the last 3 years. And this season, they're not looking as good. I'm not saying that dynasty falling down. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, Georgia isn't looking like Georgia football. They're not.
All right. Well,
We've
I
had
think
an
that
eventful.
was a really good podcast. Thanks for listening. If you listen this long, it'll be a good listen. Please like, comment, subscribe. And before we go, I would like to present this tangible item
Oh, great.
that I have here.
No.
Tanner, you can't see it, but I do have a Buckeye in my hand right now.
Oh,
And I just want to let you know.
It has no.
I just want to let you know that the Buckeyes are going to take down Notre Dame in South Bend and get it done. Let's go. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Is it done? Is it over?
Yep.
Is it over?